Alright, I got my piece of diamond plate all cut to size, and I've got it all sandblasted up on both sides. I've got 2 coats of Eastwood rust encapsulator on the back. Got 1 coat on the front. It's been an hour. I'm going to recoat it. But it cost me $30 for this piece of diamond plate. It was outside. It was just a drop. $20 for a bag of sandblasting sand. It took a whole bag to go through this thing. And a whole can of Eastwood rust encapsulator, which is another $20. So, expensive little panel right there. Okay, I've got my angle iron pieces put in place on both the top and the bottom. I've gotten this piece of box steel in place and clamped up, and I've got this piece of angle iron stock here clamped to the Jeep, and I'm going to measure from the piece of angle iron down to where the floor meets, and this is 16 9/16. Up here, measure the same, 16 9/16, and I'm going to take this piece of angle iron and move it up here, and then I'm going to measure down and set these pieces of angle at, again, 16 9/16. And then I'll tack those in place, and then I'll have to make this piece of box meet flush with these pieces of angle iron at 16 9/16 down from the very top, and that way there I'll ensure my floor goes in nice and level. And also I have to do this because the diamond plate is going to be resting right on here and be welded to this piece in the end. Okay, what I was worried about with this body did actually happen, and having everything all disconnected, I assume it's this bottom fender, quarter panel, whatever, that's on the floor has come up, bent up about 1/8 of an inch this way. If I measure from here up to here, we are the same, as the original measurement, 3 feet and 1/8. From here I am 1/8 under 2 feet or 3 feet, so it's kind of twisted a little bit, and you can see that here how this is, well, it might be hard for you to see actually, but this is closer here than it is up here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until this is on the frame until I get this piece welded in. But what I am going to go ahead and do is tack these pieces of angle iron in place. I've measured from this piece of stock iron, angle iron, from here to here, 16 9/16, and the same 16 9/16 up here. And you can see how we're nice and flush right here, but down here there's a bit of a gap. Now I'm hoping that once this twist is out of this body, I'll be able to tuck this in closer. If not, I'll have to make it. Alright, we got the angle iron tacked into the fender wells, and I've put the diamond plate in place. I had to trim just a little bit off with the plasma cutter. It was a little too wide. And I got that ground down, smoothed up, and this is kind of what it looks like from the front, I guess. There's a little bit of a bow in the diamond plate itself, but when I push that down I can tack it in and it'll be alright. This is what it's looking like from the back. And what I noticed is with this weather stripping rail in place, there is quite the gap on the way the diamond plate fits up here. Down here it's about a little more than 1/4 of an inch, and up here it's nice and tight. But if we go up to the front here, we notice that it's not really on whack there, so I think the body is just not quite as square as it could be. And I also noticed that when I was cutting out the pieces of angle iron, I had to make sure I had passenger side and driver's side, because one of them is a little longer than the other, so it's not perfectly square back here either. I've decided not to weld this in place until I can get the body turned upright and on the frame rails, because I really just don't like the way everything's lining up. Everything's a little crooked, and I just think it'd be a bad idea if I did any welding right now. I think I'd be kicking myself later on. So I'm going to put that on hold. I'll probably cut another piece of angle iron or something and just kind of go from one of these to the other and just kind of brace it so it's not flopping around. But I'm not going to weld anything further on this until I can get it squared up. The problem with that is there are no mounting locations whatsoever on the Jeep body right now, so I guess I'm going to have to start making my body mount channels.